Hello everyone, I want to show you guys some reinforcements that I made on this makeshift carryall forklift. Okay, now I've got forks, but for what I use this for, which is basically lifting logs, I didn't want to use my forks because a lot of times, like, I'm kind of digging into the ground, and as you can see here, like, you see how I'm digging into dirt. Sometimes I gotta get underneath rocks and stuff like that. So I didn't want to use my regular forks for this. So I did a reinforcement. I took some 1.5-inch tubing, okay, and what I did is I welded it to the underside of these L bars. Okay, so all the way from the front to the back over here. Okay, so I was kind of tempted because these were 4-foot square tubings. I was kind of tempted to leave it out another foot, but what I think that would most likely happen is that would probably stress this thing even more. Okay, so I did a prior video where I was like lifting 1,000-pound log before I did these before I did the reinforcement, and it was doing okay, but I did notice that it was starting to warp a little bit right after a couple of hours of working with it. So that's why I took this tubing and I reinforced it the way I did. All right, so you see how I welded it all the way to the back over here. So it was originally, it was like 4 foot long, so I cut it here, and then I took the extra section and I welded it here. Okay, so this because one of the things I noticed before I reinforced it is I noticed that it was if you look on the underside over here, on one of these sides, I forget which one, it started splitting a little bit over here. Not a lot, it just started splitting a little bit between these two pieces. So one of the things I did is I put a vice clamp on this, squeezed this back together, and then welded this section here, welded here, welded here, put a little bit of a welding over there. Okay, so here's the thing, this thing was doing okay before I did the reinforcements. So now with these reinforcements, this thing should be solid. I mean, the lift capacity of this 38 horsepower tractor is only about like 1,000 pounds. So I'm going to be, this is, I mean, the strength of this now with this tubing is going to exceed the lift capacity. Now, here's the thing, it was already strong enough, right, without the reinforcements. But what happens is a lot of times when you're working with this and the logs kind of like fall off to the side, or you're trying to manipulate the logs, that's where where the reinforcement is really going to be handy. Okay, now I did a prior video on this a quick attach plate that I got from Amazon. I did a review on this. Is the 5/16. It was like $125, and in the prior video I talked about how I welded the carryall onto this. Okay, I did some tests that you guys should check out. Before I started welding onto it, I tested it out. I basically hooked it on underneath the hitch of my truck, and I lifted it to make sure that on the back side here it wasn't going to slip off, and that was fine. It's definitely worth getting the 5/16 versus the 1/4 inch, because you're only paying like an extra $20. And it's not that much heavier, but it's a lot stronger. Okay, so get the 5/16 instead of the 1/4 inch. Okay, so yeah, that's what I recommend if you're gonna take one of these carryalls. And this was like a pretty cheap setup for me, because this plate here was $125, and this carryall when I bought it was like $150. I know it's a lot more expensive now, but it was $150. I've never used it for anything else, because like I said, I have forks. I don't put it on the back because on the back of the tractor I got like 1,000 pounds of counterweight. Okay, so I'm not going to put this on the back of the tractor. So this is a very useful place for this thing to be, for lifting logs. Okay, and moving them around and manipulating them, especially like I said, like if you see here with the dirt, I'm digging into dirt and stuff like that. So I don't want to use my good forks, right? Because the forks are a lot more expensive. This thing over, if I break the forks, I mean, now I'm into big, that's going to be a lot more expensive to fix. With this thing, I can just, if I do crack this or break it, I can always get back to welding this. I can always weld more plates on this. As far as the welding, you can see how you can see the burn marks. Because I use the Lincoln welder, right? You can see the burn marks coming through the paint over here. So I know I got good penetration. So this should be fine. I mean, like I said, it was working pretty good without the reinforcements. Now it's going to be like rock solid. Okay, and like I said, if you're not going to reinforce it, I definitely recommend, at the very least, you run a bead over here, right? Run a line of welding over here and over here, because that's where it's going to want to split. Okay, put some more welding, some more material there. So, and like I said, it was $125 for the back plate, for the quick attach plate, and then $150. So, oh, the other thing is, like, I kept this part here, because here, if I want to hook up a chain or something to pull something back, so that's a good spot. So that's pretty convenient. If I want to pull something, I can hook up a chain to that. Okay, so this is the Kubota L3800. I also have an L3901 at a different location. I've done videos on that. So this one's a couple years old. You can see the paint coming off of it, but still works good. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Drop some comments below. I'll talk to you all soon.